The reason I use a word like strict or something is you may have one set that has some really strict tolerances, and you use it on a certain set of devices, like maybe your proofing devices, that kind of idea. And then you may have one that's less strict, where the tolerance is a little wider, and you still want stuff to pass, but you're talking press runs or maybe different devices that aren't quite in the same matching level. Now, if I leave it just the way it is, it will use the first set of measurements as the color aim for the rest of it. Now, that's not what you're going to want to do in proofing, but you would probably leave it this way if I were just measuring the Epson for wide gamut output, just its final print for pay kind of work. I'm not trying to proof on it, that sort of thing. Well, I want to track that device. I want to keep an eye on its color, but I don't necessarily know what standard I'm trying to hit. I just want it to remain stable. I profiled it one day, and boy, that's what I'd like to track. And so you upload that first set of measurements for the day that you profiled it, and it will use that first set as the color aim from there on out. And you can change that in the future if you want. You can select any set of measurements that you have uploaded and use it as a color aim in a reference set. So it's easy to get colors into Maxwell for that purpose, and it's easy to select them and use them as a reference if you want. But in this particular case, to go back to this one, we're talking Grackle, so I'm going to select it here. Now, when you select stuff from this list, you'll see things in your list that you've uploaded and you want to choose, and then you'll also see this set of colors. Now, you'll see the Grackle 2006 coded and Grackle 2006 coded 1 Plus. Now, the Plus, chances are if you see the Plus, that's the one you want to choose. That is the full Grackle data set plus the extra 5 patches that are on the Ideal Alliance proofing target but are not on the original Grackle data set. Some people aren't aware of the fact that there are patches on that target that don't exist in the Grackle data set, but there are. If you choose the Grackle one, then those patches will be ignored, for better or worse. But if you choose Grackle Plus, what we've done is we've created a data set that has all of the Grackle stuff plus the extras. Same for swap on coded 3, same for swap on 5. So the Grackle 2006 coded Plus, now that's the color aim. We're still talking about my reference set. I have a lot of control over it, but I still don't need to upload the full Grackle colored bundle. Once I'm done with that, then I can go under metrics and I can create new metrics. So let's create average delta E, and then from the list of metrics, here's some of the metrics that are available in there today, and we're adding to this continually. And if you have metrics that you want in here, let us know. Maxwell is quite an extendable system, and we can program different metrics into it that you can choose and then set tolerances for. So for right now, I'm going to say average delta E. I want to do this in delta E 2000. The target value in this case is going to be 0. Target value refers to what you're aiming for, and when you're talking delta E, you're usually aiming for 0. But if you're talking dot gain or density, then you might have a target density you're aiming for. So that's what that refers to. Now when it comes to the upper critical, this is where it fails. Average delta E, let's say we'll keep it at 3. Okay. Now I'm going to create another metric for max delta E. For max delta E, let's set it at, say, 4.5. And now, so we have 2 metrics to go. We can go back to the track. So let's jump into ColorShuttle now. So if I go to ColorShuttle and I say measure, these are the results here right within ColorShuttle. The one we just measured a few minutes ago. It comes up and basically gives me a big red X. It tells me the metrics that are being used in that particular case. Average delta E, max delta E, etc., and decided 2 of them failed, and so overall this one failed. There's a verification history in the list below that you can click on, and it will show you the 15 most recent measurements that you've taken. But I can jump in here and say measure again. To make this faster, you just, under default instrument, I say I1. Under default target, I say ISO proofing, and then whenever I click the measurement button, it's ready to go. Place on the tile to calibrate. I click the button and it calibrates, and then I'll take another set of measurements. Now while I'm doing these measurements, it's updating itself in the background. it has downloaded the new logo and the new metrics. Now I click on the button on the I1 again, it calculates the pass-fail, and gives us the results. Okay? Here's the label. Now it has that new logo I uploaded, so you can see dead easy to upload a new logo into it, and it gets downloaded automatically. And the two references that I created, average and max delta E, etc., etc. Now I can adjust the tolerances, you know, if I'm like, well, if this is where we are, boy, the average delta E just skinned by at 297, so I'm going to bump that up to 4, and the max I'm going to bump up to 10, because this is a demo and I can be as tolerant as I want. So I'm going to go back into the web browser, look at the reference set, and go into my metrics. For average delta E, I can change that to 4, a little more tolerant. For max delta E, I'm going to change it to 10. And then I'm going to add another one. You know, we started to worry a bit about the paper. We got this proofing paper. We're not sure. We're not too sure if it, you know, if it's being stable. So we have a media delta E metric here. We'll do it in delta E 2000, and we want it to be close. Now this one will probably make it fail, but well, I'll try 4. Chances are you'd be a lot more strict on that one. If you if you're really doing a paper point, white point match, then you might bring that down to 2 or 1.5 or whatever. I'll say done. Okay, so I've altered the reference set, okay, that this track uses, and color shuttles all over the world using a track that use this reference set. The very next proof that they measure will use that new data. Okay, so I'm going to go back into ColorShuttle. Again, this could be on a completely different computer in a different part of the plant or the world. It doesn't matter. I say measure, connects to the I1. I rip through the calibration, and then I scan. I click the button on the I1 again. It does the calculation, pass, fail, and there we go. You can see again the new logo's in use there, but the new tolerances have come down right into this machine. Everything passed now. The new paper white tolerance has arrived. I'm glad I set it at 4 because the paper's only about 2.5 or so. Gives you an idea what the color reference is. This label layout we have a lot of flexibility with. As I said, we built a powerful system to render these labels, and it gives us the ability to change all of that information online, to lay out the elements anywhere on the page that we want, put different things in here like the name of the track, the name of the device, different things that we haven't put on this particular one, but we could, as well as obviously a table of the active metrics. And as soon as you change the metrics, they show up. Now, the business side of this is pretty straightforward. With Maxwell, you just buy tracks. It's a subscription service, as you probably have heard. We keep the rate low as much as we can. The idea is to track as much stuff as possible. We want people to be able to track everything within their system, and we're working hard to bring in temperature and environment and a number of other different things to bring in. Right now we have Display Watch. It can keep an eye on all of your monitors. What else do we have? Well, we have the hot folder function. We have a new color valet system that we can do unlimited profiles for certain specific printers. And then, of course, now the pass-fail function. The idea is to be able to get a bundle of track with Maxwell and then hook up different things. You can do the measurements into the system. You can have, obviously operators who work for you to do that, or your customers can do it. There aren't any real restrictions on that. We don't restrict the number of people who can connect to Maxwell. We don't restrict the number of times you can connect. We do have some restrictions on the number of measurements you can upload in a month, but it's a pretty big number. The idea behind it is that with the pricing we have right now, it's not set up to allow you to do full IT8s all day long from a press kind of idea. That's not the volume that we're expecting. The idea is, but you could do quite a few different proofs every day with a proofing size target, and that's fine from a volume point of view. All of this data gets uploaded into our secure system. All of the data that gets uploaded into Maxwell is by default private.